Hello, folks, and welcome to the Democratizing SEO podcast, a podcast for marketers who seek to have a better understanding of the SEO channel in order to engage with it more successfully. My name is Austine Esezobor. I am an SEO consultant and your host for this podcast. All right. I came across a post from Ahrefs last week, a post about how long it takes for SEO to show results. They polled people on LinkedIn and Twitter, and it didn't surprise me to see that the largest percentage of people, it was like 46%, said the typical 3 to 6 months rhetoric. Folks, this is just the rhetoric. Now, in certain circumstances, you can see fantastic results within 3 to 6 months, but this isn't the norm. It's only the norm as the time period given, but this isn't realistic. And let me explain why. Let's say you've recently decided to invest in your SEO. You've had your website live for a couple of years and are getting traffic from organic, but you hadn't actively worked on your SEO. You're now doing so for the first time. By the time you analyze, strategize, get the business to buy into your strategy, a quarter would have gone by. And this is just the theory and planning aspect of SEO. The implementation is another thing. By the time you decide on your tactical approach and gather resource time to begin the implementation, another couple of weeks easily would have gone by. But let's say you have all this carried out within a quarter. This is super quick, but let's say all of this is achieved within a quarter. Implementing changes, depending on what they are, of course, takes the best part of a quarter. This is from the day the implementation begins till the day the work is completed. It'll be a good 3 months. By the way, this is assuming there is only one department working on implementing your SEO strategy. The reality is several departments will be required to implement the changes asked for by SEO. And I say this to say the coordination of different departments to work on an SEO project or projects is required. So for example, if you have technical requirements that involves devs and website editors or managers, you'll need to ensure that both departments have resource to work on the SEO requirements and in a timely manner. It takes more than SEOs to make SEO work. Don't underestimate how much influence it will take to have non-SEO departments working on SEO related projects when they barely know or quite frankly care about SEO. But let's assume there are no pushbacks from any of the departments needed to realize an improvement in your SEO, and that it takes only 3 months to have implementations completed. You're then looking at another couple of weeks, at least, before Google readjusts its rankings for the keywords you're targeting and stabilizes you in the new, higher positions. Realistically, this stabilization requires another quarter. Notice the time frame I'm talking about is in quarters. If you're looking at your SEO performance in terms of months, your time frame is too short. It's way too short. Here's why. 3 months in business, as you know, is super short. This is just 1 quarter. This timeline isn't far enough to have a vision, yet alone to realize it. Now, SEO is somewhat of a lagging channel. If it takes you a quarter to implement changes, you won't see the rewards right at the end of the implementation. It'll be many weeks after before you start to see the results. Emphasis on the word start. This will just be the marker of changes, the start points, if you like. And this start point is somewhat out of your control. You can only do so much before it's down to the algorithm to pick up what you've done and to recalibrate and have you ranked higher in the SERPs consistently. How long does it take SEO to show results? Realistically, you'll be looking at 12 plus months before your SEO efforts move the needle for your business. Now, of course, there are exceptions, and the length of time really depends on several factors. For example, the state of your SEO, the awareness of SEO across your business, your competitors, the industry you're in, the current search landscape of your industry. Many factors. But on average, you want to have 12 plus months in mind. And let me emphasize the plus here. SEO is a journey. It's never ending. As I like to say, as long as you have a website, you need SEO. The start point of your SEO journey is really just the point where you commit to taking charge of your SEO, but there is no end point to this journey. Considering SEO in a time frame as short as 3 to 6 months does you a disservice. It does your business a disservice. Why? It leaves you with a mindset that has you believe in the endpoint of SEO is shortly after this stated time period, 3 to 6 months. SEO doesn't work like that. Thinking SEO is a channel that you can switch off is like thinking you can turn your website off after it's started to generate revenue. Your website and SEO are so integrated that as long as you have your website running, you need your SEO active to acquire traffic. And mind you, SEO doesn't just serve SEO, it serves all channels. This is just one of the many ways that SEO is the core of digital marketing. I can delve into this on another podcast. My point is, the 3 to 6 months rhetoric is not realistic. Now, you may be wondering, if SEO takes longer than 6 months to show results, why do some SEOs still say it takes 3 to 6 months to show results? Well, I would suggest to you that this rhetoric stems from the selling of SEO. It stems from the need to get buy-in into the channel. You see, the timeline of SEO can always be adjusted as required. The important thing is the channel is bought into. The important thing is to get sign-off on a budget. When it comes to results, there's always a reason why KPIs, why targets are not met. There's always a delay in implementation, for example, which is a trusted get out of jail card as far as having a reason why results are not met is concerned. If you've been promised the world with SEO in 3 to 6 months and have been met with excuses towards the end of this time frame, you were never going to see results within this time frame. This 3 to 6 months rhetoric shouldn't be one you follow, yet alone depend on. If you're banking on this short time frame, consider this. If SEO is a journey of making improvements, is there an endpoint? Is there really an endpoint to this journey? Is there an endpoint to improvements? No, of course not. This is why SEO is forever. For as long as you have a website up and running, a website you rely on to acquire traffic for revenue generation. Just like you wouldn't turn off your website, you shouldn't look at SEO as a channel that reaches an endpoint and can be turned off. SEO is the one channel that mustn't be turned off. For as long as you have a website, for as long as you require traffic acquisition for your website, you need SEO. It's the one channel that facilitates all channels to perform for your website. All right, folks, let's leave it there for now. Stay tuned for more from Democratizing SEO. Subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on your podcasting app of choice. All right, folks, my name is Austine Esezobor. I'm an SEO guy. I'll be with you on a weekly basis to enlighten you on wielding SEO to success. That'll do it for now, folks. Until next time, bye for now.